What's up everyone? Happy New Year! Welcome back to my channel, and we have a state of the channel video to make here. I have a list of things that are going to be new in the new year as well as the decade, and I'm really excited about this. It's not really a rebranding per se, but there's a lot of changes and a lot of updates that I'm going to be doing to the content of my channel because I really want to make this something that I can call my career. I really want to make it into something that is diverse and covers a lot of ground and is more substantial than the current content that I've been currently making. So first off, let's talk about Let's Plays. Now, that's been the crutch of my channel. Mostly everything that I've done on my channel has been Let's Plays. And in the past, I have talked about removing them because I wanted to have more time to do other things. Unfortunately, that never really panned out for me, and I ended up falling back onto Let's Plays. And the reason for that is really because I do enjoy doing them. So for a change, what I'm going to do is I am not going to stop Let's Plays, but just try to make fewer of them so that I have the time to do other stuff that I want to do. Another thing also is that so I can cover more ground, and also because of the way that I'm noticing that YouTube is going, as well as the things that I've been hearing from other YouTubers about how it's going, I am going to change the format of Let's Plays to be now half-hour long episodes. I'm also going to be focusing less on making more shows of Let's Plays, be more precise. It doesn't seem to really matter that much. I'm going to keep the show format because I personally like it. So that's why I'm going to do it. And it doesn't seem to be hurting my views or my outreach because of it. It just seems to not matter. So less of a focus on that, but still going to keep it. So as opposed to backlog purges and that kind of thing, you're probably going to mostly see just a little bit of that Colorwind beats. Although I am still contemplating, just for the sake of the algorithm, to maybe changing it to Colorwind playthroughs. But other than that, you're going to just see less of, like, for example, genre-specific shows. I have talked about in the past of how I wanted to do an RPG show or a horror show. And while those videos will still exist, that doesn't mean that they're going to get their own format per se. I might not. The point is, it's not going to be the focus anymore on this channel. Going forward also, I'm going to take the older videos that I have on my channel and start updating them with the logos that I use now and the thumbnail format that I use, as well as the metadata, just to try to keep up with everything that's going on. Speaking of Let's Plays, switching over real quick to Twitch, where I stream. I'm going to continue streaming on there. And I plan to do more streams over time because I ultimately want my Let's Play content to mostly come from that. Not really pre-recorded stuff anymore. It seems that the way that I make Let's Plays, which is just solely by myself, not with somebody else, is best suited for Twitch. And I think it's because normally when you have someone with you, you're able to commentate and make jokes or observations off of them and have a conversation, and a lot of that takes more editing. Whereas it's more entertaining when it's just off the cuff, which is what you get when you watch Twitch typically. So I'm going to direct my Let's Play content more towards that, and then once I finish the stream, the content will make its way over to YouTube. Now, how is it going to make it over to YouTube? Well, in the past, what I have done is just posted VODs of my streams. I'm going to continue to do that, but I also know that that format typically does not get that many views. And as a matter of fact, it seems to be unencouraged. And I think it's because YouTube knows that it's coming from Twitch and it's not exclusive to them, and it's something to do with the algorithm. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to break up my streams into episodes like I would my pre-recorded footage of Let's Plays. It'll be just like I announced, half-hour long episodes. However, once a stream bot has been completely broken up and all the parts have been released, I will then also release the stream as a whole. So you're going to get both. You're going to get something that's episodic that people can normally keep up with, as opposed to stay and watch a whole 2 hours of. And then later on, you'll also get that in case that's how you want to consume that content. Speaking of, this stuff is going to be completely exclusive to YouTube. I'm not going to be archiving anything on Twitch anymore because they have blocked off the ability to upload videos. And then, even though I'm a Prime member, they only save them for 2 months. And the only way to really save them is through their highlight feature, which I would rather use for clips that people like. I'm not going to do that anymore over there. So the live stuff is exclusively there on Twitch, and the archived and pre-recorded stuff is exclusively on YouTube, edited, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be the distinction. The way that I plan to stream also is going to change. I've constantly been trying to have a schedule of some sort and always stream at a certain amount of time, and it's never really worked for me because things have happened, things have gotten in the way, sometimes I'm just not in the mood. And then I've also noticed that there have been times where I wanted to stream, but because I have had this schedule set up, I don't, because I want to adhere to that schedule. So, no more schedules. I am going to stream when I feel like streaming, and when I have the time, and when I feel like it. And this will allow me to stream more than twice a week. It will allow me to stream sometimes even more than once a day if I have the time. And it'll just be more fluid. So also I can stream in the morning, I can stream in the afternoon, I can stream in the evening. It won't matter, especially as somebody who has a wildly consistent sleep schedule. That is for the best. Finally, I don't have any direct plans for this yet, so this is probably something you won't see for a long time. But I would like to figure out something other than gameplay to stream on Twitch, so I can diversify on that platform as well. Any suggestions, if I'm able to pull it off, might be tried, and they are appreciated. If you want to leave them in the comments, please do. One quick thing also, I forgot to mention this in terms of the Let's Plays. In terms of any videos, including the ones I'm going to talk about in the future, in regards to scheduling, there is also no more schedule for that anymore. I am going to try eventually to get to at least one video per day, but ultimately you'll get stuff when it's ready. And I will do my damnedest to make sure that stuff comes out at a consistent basis. I don't want to have a situation where I'm going weeks or months without posting something again. So I'd rather have something where you don't really know when I'm going to post a video, but you at least know that you'll get something that week or that month, as opposed to nothing at all because of a schedule. Next, let's talk about the newest thing that I did last year, My Gaming Landscape. I tried doing the video version of it at first, then I went back to writing, then I went back to the video again. I feel like I'm getting a bit of a groove to it, but I took a break from it the very last 2 months or so of last year because I decided that the way that I was doing it was not quite what it needed to be. My Gaming Landscape has always primarily been about talking about the games that I have been playing, new, old, whatever, and my thoughts about them. The idea was really inspired by listening to podcasts, and there would always be a section usually where the people who were playing video games, if it was a video game podcast, they would talk about the games that they have been playing and their impressions on them and what they like, what they don't like about them. And I've always liked that section because above everything else, everything that we do about video games, a lot of the content has to do with just talking about them. Just sharing our experiences, what we like, what we don't like, what we thought was interesting, what part we're at, or whatever. That's what people do when they play video games and you get with somebody else. You talk about them. So I decided that in a way I'm going to kind of stop fighting what it originally was. And My Gaming Landscape is now going to turn into a podcast. Specifically, so that I have enough to talk about, and I have a lot to talk about. I am now going to change the show into a monthly show. So it's going to be in a podcast format. It's going to have a monthly release schedule, and it'll cover the last month or so of games that I've been playing. There's going to be an episode coming up fairly soon. It should be ready within the week, if not much sooner. I would actually like to have it ready within a day or two. But it's going to cover essentially 2 months, most of November and December, because the last gaming landscape I released was in roughly a third of the way through November. So there'll be a lot to talk about. That's the reason why it's going to take me a little bit longer. But I'm hoping that with this format, it's going to generate more interest into it, as well as make an excuse for why it would be so long form and why it's just me talking. The thing about the way that's going to come out, though, is that the changes are not going to be right away. The episode that you're going to see is going to be tinkering around with the format that I want the podcast to eventually be, but it's not going to be fully formed. The podcast, as it's going to be, is probably not going to be formed until maybe March. In that time, I'm going to make new assets for the podcast, so there'll be new logo and new icon and stuff like that, so that I can put it up on podcast services, which is the other thing. It's also going to be in an audio format now. And finally, I tend to break it up a little bit so that the podcast has sections. So it's games I've been playing but I don't really have a lot to talk about, and games that I've picked up, and all these sort of things. They'll have names, they'll have sections, and possibly some sort of graphic or music to go with it, stuff like that. And it's going to take me time to flesh it out, and also to have the exact format that I want to go forward doing. So expect a prototype of that coming out within the week, like I said, and then expect the full thing to be shown as it's going to proceed in a couple of months. You will get an episode in February as well, but again, that won't be like the finished product. That's the plan anyway. Finally, this is the big thing that's going to be different on my channel, and it's new types of videos. Like I said, I'm not going to focus on Let's Plays anymore, and my gaming landscape is going monthly. That means, what's going to happen in between? Well, I've done something like this before on E3, I believe 2 years ago, something like that, where I did my live reactions to the press conferences. Well, get ready for a lot more content like that. I'm going to be doing a show called Colorwind Reacts, where I react to trailers and news and give you my gut opinion. That's going to be something that I'm hoping to be able to just crank out really quickly, so that's timely. I'm not going to be sort of like the person on YouTube who goes, "Oh my God, look what's happening." That's not really the intention of this show, even though I will do that occasionally, just because there's certain things I will get excited about, like, for example, new characters in fighting games. The real aim of this show is really to talk about the news in a timely fashion. Something that I care about happens, I can come up, bring up the webcam, say my piece, and then post it on my channel here real quick. That's really what this show is going to be for. So that's what the point of Colorwind Reacts is going to be, so I can react to things that are happening in the video game industry within a quick, timely fashion. It's not really for the clicks, it's really for getting my opinion and keeping up with the discourse of the industry as a whole. Next is going to be a series that I've been wanting to do for a while. This is going to be a scripted series, and it's kind of like a video essay type of show. I'm calling it Colorwind Talks, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's opinion editorials from me, and it's going to be, like I said, scripted, and It's going to be on topics regarding the industry. It could be about various controversies. It could be about the way that something is being played out within a certain line of news. Once I give you different videos about it, you'll understand what I mean by that. But essentially, it's I guess the best example I can give is Jim Sterling's Jimquisition show. However, I do not plan on making it very negative. I will have negative topics, but I plan to also have positive topics as well. And I also have plans to have neutral topics. The first topic that I have in mind that should be coming fairly soon is more neutral than anything else, for example. A lot of these is just about having a deep conversation about certain things within the industry, and it's not really about good or bad or right and wrong sometimes. It can be, it often will be, but it doesn't have to be. And sometimes it's just, here is a concept that I feel we need to talk about, and it's food for thought more than anything else. Next, another scripted series, and one that I thought I should have done a long time ago, reviews. I'm going to start doing reviews. I'm going to start reviewing games once I finish them. And they're going to be your basic standard reviews where I talk about the good and the bad. I review the graphics, the sound, the presentation, the gameplay, the mechanics, the design, fun factor, all that stuff. And then I give it a score. And there will be a score scale. It's going to be 11-point scale from 0 to 10. No decimal points. It's going to be the same score scale that I use on my reviews that I used to write about. I will discuss what that is in a later video, which is something that also I'm going to get to in a bit. When those videos come out will be very, very unscheduled because it depends on when I finish something, and I don't really care about getting things out in too timely of a fashion. Plus, this job does not make me any money yet, so it's not like I'm going to be able to keep up with all of the new releases that come out, which is sort of why I've kind of resisted doing this, but I still want to do it, and I still think that this is the best way in which to do it as opposed to the written reviews that I used to do, so that's why I'm going to do it this way. Might do retro reviews too, who knows. I'm not leaving that possibility out. Speaking of reviews though, I'm also going to be doing in-depth reviews, and this is something that I have teased before in the past. I called it blast processing, and I've also renamed it to the next level. I'm still not sure if I'm going to be keeping those names, but I do have a script that I've been working on for over a year. I think it's been 2 years at this point, that I wanted to use for that original idea that I had originally announced. I plan on finishing the idea and posting it and then making more after that. That will take me a very long time. That'll be a show that you'll see once every quarter, most likely, if even that. But it's something that I want to do and something that I want to keep doing as like a special kind of video that comes out every once in a while, every once in a blue moon. They will be real in-depth reviews where I talk about every single aspect of the game and talk about why it's good, why it's bad. It's not just going to be just your typical review. I will probably give it a numbered score, but I'm debating that because with everything that I'm going to be saying, that should really be enough. And these videos are going to be long. Like, I'm debating on the one that I'm working on right now, whether or not to keep it at the 1.5 hour length that it currently is. Also, what you're seeing right now, the state of the channel videos like this that I'm doing, I'm going to be doing them more often. The plan is to do them every quarter, but if there's something that I really need to update everyone about, I will also make an update video for that. But regardless of whether or not I do those like smaller updates, every quarter I will talk about, this is how everything's going. This is how I want to proceed in the future. And this is what worked. This is what not worked. This is what I've learned. This is what I'm going to try coming up. The next two ideas are stuff that I'm not even sure I will get to this year, but just know that I have this in mind and I possibly might do something like this if I get the real inkling to do it, or if I see a demand for it. And that is two things. One, I have a style of article that I wanted to do on my blog that I never finished. And considering that it's mostly for video games, now I'm thinking maybe it'd be better as a video. And that is a specific type of piece video that's sort of similar to the op-eds that I announced earlier, but specifically about video game design. Right now I'm calling it design play, and these would be videos about why this mechanic works or does not work in video games. Why does Mario's jumping feel so good? And I'll talk about that and give examples as to why and why not that's good. Why does the design of Sonic work and it doesn't work? Stuff like that. What makes this effective as opposed to this? It's going to be a video series that goes down into the real nitty-gritty of how the game is made and what the thinking and the rationale is behind it, and whether it's good or a bad thing. The next video is not really a specific type of video at all. I am tinkering with the idea of covering something other than video games. I'm a big fan of music, and I could make music videos if that's something that people are interested in. I don't know. We shall see. No plans for that yet. It's not even as thoroughly planned out as the design play thing, but it's just something that I have in the back of my mind, and I know that there's sort of a format that I can more or less take and use in order to do this. Before, I never really thought about it because I knew that you couldn't play the music using these videos because YouTube would be a copyright bastard. But I know there's ways of circumventing that kind of stuff now, so maybe that'll happen. Speaking of YouTube, the last thing I want to talk about is the schedule for all of this. And right now, the plan is for all this to come out rather slowly. And there's two reasons for that. One, I do not want to overwhelm myself with this kind of stuff. I've done that before, and then it just ends up not getting done. The second reason, and this is kind of the real reason, is YouTube. YouTube's algorithm is a bitch, and it does not like it when you're a new creator trying to do something new. This platform is essentially already been divided up into its own various fiefdoms, and it doesn't want anybody messing with that. And in that, they do not want me in there, but I don't care because I'm going to keep trying until I get what I know I can achieve. However, I am going to play a little bit by the rules because I essentially have to. So the slow rollout also means that some things I'm purposefully not going to post immediately because I want to make sure that it does the best that it can. A lot of the stuff that I am planning to do will not fully be realized, for example, the podcast, until around March or even further than that. And the reason for why it's going to take so long is advertisers as well. The advertising in videos right now is kind of trash. January is usually a dead month for the channel, and they don't get as much money as they typically do throughout the year. Same thing can kind of also be said for February. It's not really until March until it fully bounces back. So for that reason, that's another explanation as to why it's not going to come out until then. However, just so you know that something is going to formally come out and be released, I will make for each of these new types of videos an introductory video where I explain what this is about and what I'm going to be doing. For example, I mentioned the review scale for reviews. I will explain that in a video, an introductory video, when I start releasing reviews. Other than that, that's pretty much everything that I have planned now for the channel. I'm going to get started most likely with a stream that's going to be longer than normal, and it should be going up later today, if not at this time that you're seeing this. That will give me the first kind of like let's play content for the year. Again, that kind of stream stuff is probably going to be what my Let's Play content ends up comprising of. If anybody has anything that they would like to say to me about all the stuff that I'm doing, feel free to leave me some notes in the comments, leave me feedback. I would love to hear all of it. I would like to hear what you would like to see from me, some other things that maybe I can try out. I am really determined to make sure that this channel turns into something other than just Let's Play this year and this decade, because there's too much of other things that I'm interested in that I want to do, and I've just been holding myself back from doing. So with that said, thank you very much for watching this update video. I know it was a rather long one, but I had a lot to talk about, and I hope to see you in any one of the videos that ends up being posted within the next week, whether it be a Let's Play, my gaming landscape, or maybe something else, one of my new shows. So thank you very much for watching. Peace and love, gamers and players. Fight on.